All right, what is up? What is up, fellas? What is up, Kodiak Nation? What is up, Who Dat Nation? I mean, if you're watching this and you're a Saints fan, but yeah, today we are going to be talking about none other than Taysom Hill, Taste God, Mormon Mahomes, who showed out in his first career start. So a few weeks ago, we actually learned that Drew Brees sustained multiple fractured ribs. He fractured most of them against the 49ers. And it actually come out that the game before that, which I'm sure you all remember because it was one of the biggest beatdowns we've seen in the past decade or so on a primetime game, Drew Brees apparently suffered three fractured ribs in that game as well. So I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that we are likely not going to see Drew Brees for the rest of the season. I'm no medical expert, but yeah, I would just say it's not looking great for him. And also that game against the 49ers, I think that was more than likely his last game in the league since, we already knew that he was kind of on his last leg. And as far as if this season was his last or not, if you guys remember, he had already signed that deal to be an analyst after he was done playing. And he signed that deal knowing, I assume, that sooner rather than later he would be fulfilling that analyst career, which led the door open to two guys in the Saints QB room. The first, who many people, including myself, thought was going to be the starter against the Falcons this past weekend when news of Brees' injury first surfaced, was Jameis Winston. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but Jameis Winston had one of the most incredible seasons last year. And when I say incredible, it's not Peyton Manning or Patrick Mahomes or Russell Wilson or Lamar Jackson or Aaron Rodgers incredible. He was incredible in the fact that he passed for 5,000 yards, threw for 30 touchdowns, and 30 interceptions. If you guys remember, he actually hit that 30 interception mark in the very last game of the season. The other is Taysom Hill. He started his college career late at BYU due to the fact that, he was fulfilling church missions. And he sustained a lot of injuries in his college career that had a lot of people questioning if he could make it in the NFL. So pre-draft at the combine, Taysom Hill measured 6 feet 2.5 inches, and he also weighed in at 230. And he ran 4.4, which has to make his weight-adjusted speed score just absolutely insane. And in the 2017 draft, he actually went undrafted, and he signed with the Packers as a free agent right afterwards. And he played in a few preseason games with Green Bay, but he ended up being waived the final day of roster cuts. So Taysom Hill was soon picked up by the Saints, who, I don't know if you guys remember, but 2017 was kind of their resurgence year. We had seen time and time again awful defenses just letting Drew Brees down, and they would just punch teams in the mouth with Ingram and Kamara. Finally learned how to play some good defense, and December 3rd, 2017, Taysom Hill got his first activation, and he did really nothing the rest of the year besides play a little bit on special teams, but he ended up recording a few tackles, so credit to him. So week 2 against Cleveland on September 16th in 2018, he returned his first kick 47 yards, and the Saints won 21-18. The next week against the Falcons, he returned 3 kicks for 64 yards and made a tackle on a punt while he was on offense. And then he rushed the ball 3 times for 39 yards, and he was also used as a blocker that game. Then the next week against the Giants, he completed his first pass on a fake punt for 10 yards. So I guess the overall theme that you could see is that Sean Payton was starting to get Taysom Hill involved at every level in the game, however possible. So over these past 2 years, the Saints have just found creative ways. I know Sean Payton absolutely loves this dude because they signed Taysom Hill to a 2-year deal worth $16.3 million this past offseason. And I'm not sure if you guys know, but that is a decent chunk of change for a guy who you just view as a utility player. Or what if I told you that the Saints don't just view him as a utility player? The Saints signed Jameis Winston this past offseason for a $1.1 million deal. I'm not sure if you guys know, but a $1.1 million deal, if you're going shopping for a quarterback, you're basically going for the bottom of the barrel. You're not going to get anybody good. But I mean, for a $1.1 million deal, you're getting Jameis Winston, and not only that, but they're paying Taysom Hill about $8 million more than that this year. And then actually, Jameis Winston ended up firing his agent after making that deal. So I don't think James had a say in signing with the Saints. Actually, I'm sure he did, but I thought he'd get a lot better of a contract than he actually did. And I don't know how many interceptions Jameis Winston threw in practice this week to Lattimore, but I can assume that they didn't really have a lot of confidence in him to begin with if they signed him to that ridiculously low extension. So with the Brees injury and the Saints playing the Falcons in a few days, did you really think that Sean Payton was going to pass up an opportunity to give their biggest rival the middle finger? Everything from what Sean Payton says in press conferences indicates that he absolutely loves Taysom Hill. And part of the reason I think they kept him on the roster and signed him to that extension well above market value is because there's a very good chance they were grooming him to be the next successor to Brees. So his biggest knock going into the game was, I believe, he had only attempted like 18 or 20 career passes, and he's 30 years old. But I mean, watching the Saints, it didn't look like a lot had changed from their usual offensive game plan. Their game plan uh, so heavily relies on, well, at least when Brees is in the lineup, trying to keep Brees upright, trying to get the ball out quick. A lot of dump offs to the running backs. But I don't know, they were running a more 2019 version of their offense as far as from what I saw last year. They were running a lot of slants, a lot of post concepts, and a lot of people coming into this game were concerned about Taysom's potential accuracy issues. But I thought he looked pretty damn good. I thought he had really good ball placement for a guy who'd only thrown 20 career passes, and he didn't have very many like great deep balls. And he probably never will be a great deep ball passer. But he looked fine otherwise. So as far as his pocket awareness, he didn't just look down his first read and when it wasn't there, just tuck it and run. He legitimately looked like Aaron Rodgers on some of those plays. He reminded me of Brees in the sense that he was able to stay cool in the pocket under pressure, but he was able to make some phenomenal adjustments, mid-read through his progressions. Now, the one thing he could improve on is he didn't really check it down. I mean, I guess when you're a super athletic guy, you've always been the best athlete on the field. Your first instinct is to use your feet, but he didn't really throw to Kamara all that much. And Kamara is a more than capable check down receiver, as I'm sure you all know. And he did trust his feet way too much against a very fast Falcons defense. So when I say fast, I do not mean good. So please do not think that I am complimenting the Falcons defense. So yeah, he trusted his feet a little too much. He took 2 really bad sacks of more than 10 yards. So I mean, I guess if there's an area he can improve, it's probably there. And he did have that one fumble that came off a 20-yard run. But other than that, I thought Taysom Hill played a phenomenal game. I thought there were going to be a little more designed runs, and the only designed run I could really think of was the first rushing touchdown he scored. But yeah, it looked more of like a 2019-2020 version of the Saints offense that he was running. Some people thought they'd just be doing the wishbone, the Navy, the insane college offenses. But no, Taysom Hill looked like an NFL quarterback out there on Sunday. And I mean, it's good to see because a lot of people on social media have just been shitting all over this dude because they don't think he can actually succeed playing a legitimate position other than being a Swiss Army knife. But the dude looked like a quarterback. And Sean Payton told Peter King back in 2017 that he absolutely loved this dude and that he saw some Steve Young in him. And he's putting his money where his mouth is now. Taysom Hill is going to start against Denver on Sunday, and I don't know how it's going to go. I think the Broncos offense is going to look like absolute trash per usual, but I think that if there's one game and one team I would be concerned about the Saints offense playing, I think that Taysom Hill is the type of quarterback that Fangio will figure out how to feast on. And in my honest opinion, another week or two for the rest of the season, or at least until Brees is out, where Taysom Hill looks like a competent NFL quarterback, which he certainly did on Sunday against their biggest rival. The Saints are likely going to move on from Brees. If Brees does come back for longer than we expect, the Saints likely can't afford to keep Hill because they're so cash strapped and they're not going to pay Brees anything below market value. That's just sending a huge fuck you to one of your best, actually your best player in franchise history. Now, if he plays the Steelers, does he put up this performance? Definitely not. But this is easily a game that Jameis Winston could have lost, and I'm glad to see that Taysom Hill, showed out. The Saints' defense is absolutely legit, and their remaining schedule is pretty laughable, besides KC. But, if Mormon Mahomes beats KC, then I think we'll have a clear answer to who the best quarterback in the league is, and it's not the one who played at Texas Tech in college. Alright guys, that is going to do it for the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're not already, follow me on Twitter, link is in the description below. Anyways guys, have a good day, and peace out.